Hello, Jonathan. How are you?
Morning. So far, wonderful, Myrna.
Welcome to springtime. I don't know when people will watch this video, but I think we're in the third day of spring now. So the leaves are on the trees and the flowers are
Hey,
coming into bud, and people are like, oh, maybe winter's finally over. So it's good to see you. Today, we're going to talk about burnout,
Myrna.
what it is and how to avoid it. And I think there's a sense, at least in America, that we have kind of a grind culture, a high productivity culture. The expectations are is you don't take your vacation if you're serious. You still answer emails till 9 p.m. at home. And so let's look at our slides real quick and get us started. And then we'll go over how to identify if you have burnout and then what to do about it. So, okay, we're off to the races. Let me share this screen. And, okay, that's the wrong screen.
That's a great background.
Yeah, let's find a different screen. Stop share. And hang on a second. Okay. Well, I'm going to share this one. And then I'm going to go get the right one, which I thought I had set up, but I didn't. Okay. Dun dun dun. You would think 100 round tables later, I would have this worked out. Okay, let's talk about avoiding burnout. So, there. Thank you for complying, computer. I only had to hit the present tab 3 times and now it's happily presenting. So here's a couple getting a massage. They have the warm stones on her back and he's getting warm oil. So having a regular routine of self-care, I think, is one way to avoid burnout. And it can feel like a luxury, but when you measure how much productivity you've lost and what your peace of mind might be worth or a good night's sleep, having some self-care it can make sense. So build into your calendar. Okay. I like this picture for burnout. Here's the
Mm.
power of stepping away. Pull the match out of the chain, so you don't catch fire. Take a day off. So, tracking your time is something you can do to avoid burnout. One of the recommendations I read, and we'll include all of this information below, is to see where in your calendar, if you look at the last week, the last month, what things were on your calendar that were not productive, were not obligations, you weren't doing them out of duty, they were fun. That you didn't have a responsibility after the event, you showed up, you enjoyed it, or you were just taking a walk and taking pictures of the trees in bloom or something. If you're not finding any of that on your calendar, you might be risking some burnout. So,
Yes, for sure.
connecting with friends and family. So they even had a link that I'm sharing about how to avoid burnout at home. I don't know if you have found this, but certainly as COVID hit and everybody was in lockdown, and then I've been working from home ever since for the most part, I end up working 12-hour days without even noticing.
Mm.
I just go, 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 because there isn't a commute to interrupt my workday. My commute is to the coffee maker and back. So it's easy for me to go right through dinner and still typing or still researching or still whatever beyond the calendar appointments that I have. So using a timer to give yourself a 20-minute tea time break, at 3 o'clock, because we have our biorhythms, right? That tell us, okay, we need to step up from the desk or what have you. So organizing your workspace so that you can find things. So if part of the reason you're burned out is because you don't have things, sort of tidy in an organized manner, going through the clutter and getting organized might be a way to avoid burnout. Take your vacation and your paid time off or PTO. So getting that time away to clear your head. Get outdoor sunshine is another thing. So we'll come back and do the memes in a minute. But I know one of the um, recommendations was to get your boots muddy. So put on hiking shoes and go outside and walk a trail. And I think you breathe differently. Jonathan, what do you think?
Oh, yes. Especially if you go like on a walk under like huge trees. Like here in California, we have redwood trees, for
Yes,
example.
so towering.
Yeah, so it actually feels like a bubble of fresh air, kind of
Oh,
like walking into like the aura of the like under the aura of different like trees. So it
yeah,
actually it's
yeah.
very refreshing.
Mm,
Um, but you know, it's actually you're right. The US has this positive and negative. It's like the two sides of the same coin.
mhm,
What makes it like a great, powerful nation, it's
mhm,
also the downside, which is it's like work, 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 work. It's a fast-paced
mhm,
society.
mhm. There's no siesta culture.
There's no, yeah, there's no let's hang out with the
Mhm,
family or like time for even for yourself.
mhm,
Like other countries, like more slow
mhm.
pace countries, you see even like old people is just outside watching the birds. Or maybe drinking coffee or like smoking a cigarette, but like just taking its time. Here in America, most likely, if you're old, you're gonna have to work a part-time to afford your life if you didn't do the right things. So
Yes,
it's harder. It's harder because
yes.
they don't have the time to like just slow it down, right?
I think what I wrote down some notes from the research that's included below. The definition of burnout is a state of emotional, physical, or mental exhaustion caused by excessive and prolonged stress. And so sometimes we choose a stressful situation on purpose, like we might be working a second job, driving Uber or DoorDash on the weekend because we want to pay off the car, which will give us less stress. Or we want to pay for a child to be in private school, or we're gonna, not spend any more money on credit cards and pay those bills down to zero. We might be creating a stressful environment because we have a goal, though we know it won't last forever. And then there are people that are in work environments where if you're not, at your desk before the boss gets in and you work past the time when he or she leaves, there's a work culture that's kind of over demanding of how much time, you invest. The last thing I was thinking of in terms of stress is if you have someone you're caring for who's sick or who has a prolonged illness, there are some stressful situations that are just completely out of your control, and giving yourself, if you're providing care for someone like that, rest and breaks and having someone tag team with you. I don't do Tuesday, Thursdays with mom anymore, because I can't handle the stress load. And so I pay someone to come in Tuesday, Thursdays, or whatever that looks like. I don't know if you've had clients who have had ongoing prolonged stress and their circumstances tell them it's still going to be a while before that stress is released. But how do I get from here to the end of whatever that is?
Or whatever. Yeah, it's it's actually happened to me before. So I one of the things that I have learned is that when you are about to like burn like have a burnout or something,
Hmm.
it at first the thing is that we miss the signals that our body sends us. But I've noticed that if we actually like if you are in sync with yourself, first it's like the body it whispers. It's like a
Hmm.
very soft, delicate whisper, like, hey,
Hmm.
slow down. And then if you don't listen to the whisper, it starts like speaking like more louder.
Hmm.
And that's when the sometimes that's when the physical manifestations start popping up, but not really. By the time you're like completely finished, it's already like screaming, and that's when the physical manifestation of what it was there the whole time starts like going through, and that's when it's not pleasant. But even if that happens, it doesn't take that long from that moment to like recover
Yeah.
if you just like take care of yourself in a way. Like for example, I know it's hard for someone that like runs a company, or like if somebody has like a sick family member
Hmm.
and it's like, oh, I cannot take multiple days off in a row. Well, surprise, surprise, if you don't, when you know you feel like you should, if you don't,
Hmm.
then the consequences
Hmm.
are you're gonna have to do it for a longer period of time and in a hospital bed. So
Right. Or the recovery, right, will be worse. And I think some of this is a mindset, and I've been guilty of this too. I've always had a lot of stress, so I know how to handle stress. So I don't question my stress baseline. But I know for me, and I recently spotted it in a friend of mine, that it's when the unconscious things you do, you're now not performing correctly.
mhm,
That you're like at the screaming part where your mind is like, you can't even get the coffee on. You can't drive to the store because you found you drove to work and you meant to drive to the store. But
I see.
you get in the car and you're kind of unconscious and you're
Mhm.
like, why am I at the wrong place? Because
Yeah,
you're so past your margins for the stress that even the unconscious things you do are breaking down. And I think that's when you have to raise your hand and say, okay, I need to, I need to de-stress. I need 3 days of no responsibility. Go fishing. What do you have to do to kind of reset and get some restoration? If it's a long-term thing, you're about to fund your company, you're in a new job and that product delivery date is still 6 weeks out. Find other ways in your schedule. Spend Saturday mornings with muddy boots or walking on the beach, or even just walking a path through a local park. You can walk around a school, walk around the playground, whatever you need to do to be in a different environment with no responsibility where you're quiet and you listen.
yeah,
Because the breakdown continues, as you say, it gets to stress headaches. Now you can't sleep. You're also not eating. This snowball rolls downhill pretty fast.
yeah. Like, yeah. I, for example, I can use me as an example of that. I used to have like the worst headaches ever when I was younger. I think they call it there's like a name for it.
The migraine headaches.
Yeah, it's like a migraine. Yeah. So
Hmm.
it was horrible. It was just horrible.
Hmm.
And I actually I started to asking the question. It was so bad, and I had to take so many like ibuprofen and stuff.
Hmm.
It was so bad at some point that I was like, this is not right. I don't think I should be like living this life experience with so much like
Hmm.
headaches. I don't think this is like normal.
Hmm.
So I started like going into myself and finding what is it that triggers. And obviously the job. So I quit the job at the
Hmm.
time.
Because your health
Uh,
is worth more than a paycheck. There are other
hey,
paychecks.
I
There
had
are
to do
other
it.
paychecks.
I
Yeah.
had to do it. What
Hmm.
about this friend or that friend? Oh, yeah. No, no, not a good idea. So
Hmm.
got also rid of that. I started doing all those changes in matter of less than a year.
Hmm.
It was a totally different experience. I had
Yeah.
no ever since. If it happens, is very, very like very rarely. And if it happens, I know that I'm messing up something, and it's so easy for me to catch like obviously something I'm doing that is not good for me. So catching yourself uh, and and answering your questions. Like for example, not everybody can handle like when you say stress, not everyone is designed the same way. Like
Yes.
there's jobs that you can do, and for you, you're gonna come out of the workday and you can still take a shower and have your lunch
Hmm.
and go to bed. There
Hmm.
are some people that cannot do that, and just
Yes.
because of the pay that they're getting, they think it's worth to go through all this. extra heavy load of
Yes.
stress, which they are not equipped or like able to handle. And that is very dangerous because um, you're basically selling your own health just because you're getting a good paycheck. So that's, I wouldn't recommend that.
Hmm.
If you feel like it's too much, then it's too much.
Yeah.
Or you have to find a way that it does, like, for example, taking some time off, it's great. I think it's like the walk part, like walking to the park, going to the beach, and like shutting off the I have to like be like on all the time, like
Yes.
handling situations, because then that's how people end up with like strokes and those kinds of things. There's not much. It's very simple. Like if you ever feel like your eyelid starts like moving by itself,
They're
like
twitching.
obviously is that will be considered not the whistle because the whisper, the whisper is more subtle. That will be considered more like the loud talking.
Mhm,
Like, hey,
mhm,
it's obviously something is going on. Find out what is it around
mhm,
you or what
mhm,
the things that you are doing that is causing this. And usually, if if someone actually like sits down and thinks, it's like they come up if they need help. That's what we are here for. Like we can make that process more simple.
mhm,
But somebody for themselves, they can sit down and be like, okay, this. Sometimes it might be the husband or the wife, who knows?
mhm,
It's
mhm.
like what is causing you so much like extra
Yeah.
heavy load of stress and get rid of it. That's a great way to start.
I know we both have taught people meditation and mindfulness and breathing techniques to help people get into the moment. Because sometimes we catch ourselves still solving a problem at 10:30 at night, and we have to switch it off. If we just have the unconscious habit of I'm still working on this in the background, to shut down the background. And so working with a coach to learn mindfulness techniques, breathing, they're very simple to learn, and then you just practice them. Adding that to your calendar, so that you start your day at an even state. You start your day breathing deeply and, ready to face what comes, and leaving work at work or whatever you have to do. Yeah, there are ways to um, de-stress and reconnect with a natural biorhythm. Also, when you're working with a coach, we can ask questions like, tell me about your diet, tell me about your sleep. It could be that you have developed a food sensitivity like gluten or red dye number 3 or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it seems
Then
like,
sometimes it.
yeah,
Mhm.
when we're stressed, we eat the thing that's the absolute worst for us because that's what we're craving. We crave the thing that's bad for us. The diabetic craves, sweet things, and the high blood pressure person craves the salty things. I mean, it's like we crave the thing that's the opposite. So, one of the ways to de-stress, if you're working with a coach to avoid burnout, or to kind of create more balance and harmony in your life, is to examine some of those things and say, well, how about a substitute for this and a substitute for that? And if you develop some mindfulness skills, you can speak to this, then you have more open eyes to be conscious of, well, why did I make that choice? Whether it's what you're going to eat, or that you canceled the walk with your friend, or that you've decided to take the work home and work until midnight, you begin to be a little bit more conscious of, wait, I might be doing this to myself.
Yeah, es- especially like the mindfulness part. I
Mhm,
think that is a great point. Like for example, I have met um, uh, clients that let's say they have problems going to bed at night.
mhm,
But you discover that at night, that's when they start having all these conversations with themselves, and like they want to fix the whole, like
mhm.
either their life or the mistakes they have done, or
Yeah.
like the world they want to fix.
Mhm,
But they forget that they are in bed about to fall
mhm,
asleep. And that's when it becomes complicated because the mindfulness of like it's time for bed, like it's just literally it's time for me to like shut up, close my eyes, and
Mm.
like just do nothing. That part is so complicated for many people.
Yeah, they have
You
to learn
can,
how and then practice.
yes.
Well, I mean, you
So
give
that,
people a sleep protocol that includes, auto hypnosis, sleep
like,
protocols like shut the lights off, don't be on
yeah,
your phone for an hour. I mean, and if they develop a routine, they relearn how to comfortably fall asleep and repair their nervous system overnight.
yeah, because then they wake up, and usually what happens when the stress load is going for many, many times, like many days, which I know because it's happened to me, so I know exactly how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Then you wake up the next day, even if you slept, let's sleep for like 12 hours,
Mm-hmm.
the body itself doesn't feel like it rested.
Mm-hmm.
It actually, you wake up, and as soon as you open your eyes, you are already, it's like you are already like late for something that you haven't even started because it's following you from the day before and the day before. So it becomes very hard to escape. I know how it can go. It's just, it's tough. Once you get into that position is not easy, but
Yeah.
it's very simple to like
We
do.
build these habits, right? And then layer upon layer upon layer. And then as we break down the layers, and now we're in a place of burnout, of maximum stress, rebuilding healthy habits can take a couple of layers to get back into a routine. But people who have survived burnout, and I don't know if you would agree for this now that you no longer have migraine headaches, but they say things like, today I protect my peace. I now understand the value of rest. They have just arrived at a place that it's a pillar in their life now. That, I open my day with 15 minutes of mindfulness meditation, and that's not negotiable. And then I start the rest of my day. So people can reorient how they spend their time. And now they have a bulwark against getting to such a stressful, ongoing circumstance that they burn out. But you hear about, this is how I live now. And so I won't return to that place of exhaustion and burnout.
Which I think is a great way to start if you have to do like remind yourself those
Mhm.
things. I think is great. Eventually it comes to a point that it's more natural for the
Yes.
body. Like it comes to a point where you automatically know like, hey, this is like something is not right. And
Hmm.
then as soon as you have like some time, you know to like retreat,
Hmm.
take
Hmm.
some time for yourself.
Hmm.
Um, there is an app actually if somebody has like really really like struggling with something. Like back in the day when I was living in that
Hmm.
kind of world, it didn't exist for me. So I'm actually kind of jealous that now this is out there for everyone. Uh, but no, it's very helpful. It's by Sadhguru. It's called Miracle of Mind. It's actually a life-changing app because there's meditations. They're like 7 minutes. So
I'll
if
put a link
somebody,
to it in the
yeah,
description.
that would be great. If somebody doesn't have like 7 minutes to take care of their mind,
Hmm.
especially if they are dealing with something, this is a great way to start. Like
Hmm.
it's called a non-brainer.
A no-brainer. Yeah, non-brainer. Well, I know someone who told me in the early days of her meditation practice, she years ago was going through a divorce and she'd quit drinking. And so she'd made some big life changes. And she started attending a Buddhist temple and learned to do mindfulness meditation. And she said in the early days, like 1 in 3 of her meditation sessions, 20 minutes in the morning, felt restorative, felt helpful, and 2 of them were crappy. Her mind
Yep,
never turned off. She's still in the misery of, all the things that went wrong and how hard it is to start over, and we're doing the doom scrolling in your brain.
yep,
But she said now, back in the day when I was talking with her about it, she sits down and her body knows what to do.
yeah.
It's
That,
become habitual. She sits down and then things shut off. And she's just quietly peaceful and mindful, and she wouldn't trade it for the world. But in the beginning, you are training your mind, you're training your body. It doesn't happen overnight, but it does
Yeah.
happen. Yeah.
Yeah, for somebody that wants to learn how to like be still or like
Mm-hmm.
with a slower
Follow your
movement,
breath and be still.
yeah, it takes some practice, but it's very basic. Like even like I'm pretty sure like it's so basic that I'm pretty sure like a 4-year-old, if you give them the proper like instruction,
Mm-hmm.
they will follow.
Mm-hmm.
Now, keep in mind because there are so many people that have like tried some kind of meditation or like even for hypnosis, it's a kind of guided meditation
Mm-hmm.
where somebody has to be able to like listen
Mm-hmm.
and shut up, like
Mm-hmm.
like don't speak, just listen.
Mm-hmm.
It's an active process, so they have to be very like there needs to be like
It's an open cooperation.
yes, it's a cooperation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, some people I know for them it's very very hard for some clients to like be concentrated and not be thinking on other things.
Mm-hmm.
So when that happens, if somebody is learning like any like breathing techniques or meditation, the basics, they
Mm-hmm.
just have to know that the mind is always going to go on and on and on, especially if you're just like starting.
Mm-hmm.
So there's nothing wrong with that. It's just if you don't finish what you started as a time that you set up for meditation,
Mm-hmm.
that's when it's the problem because then you didn't do nothing. But if you just keep practicing, eventually,
Put in
yes,
the reps day
yeah.
after day. You put in the reps, and it makes.
Even if you did the 7 minutes and the whole 7 minutes you were like you were somewhere else in your office in your mind, it counts.
Mhm.
Because if you just keep doing it, eventually you'll get to the point that you forget that you have grandparents, parents, kids,
Right,
neighbors,
right.
and then you open your eyes and you're like, ah, now I can have a conversation with my neighbor like that
Yeah, now
because
I'm
you feel
ready to
good.
meet the day, to meet the world, because you've had a reset that you just know how to do. And I think it's a skill set, everyone should have in whatever way they go about it. But for some people, they have to get to the brink of collapse before they
Yeah,
start to look for help. And it can sneak up on you. Burnout can sneak up on you. And as you said, when you went in to figure out what is the source of these migraines, it was multiple things that needed to
yeah.
change.
I even had to get like change girl like I stopped the girlfriend that I had at the time. Like the whole package of changing I'm talking about, like
Mm-hmm,
car payments. Like
mm-hmm.
it's like either am I going to stay alive or am I going to die out of like some unknown disease out of stress?
Well, once you do operate the day with peace of mind and a centered start, you won't want to give it up. You won't want to give it up. And I think it's possible for everyone. So, any final thoughts about, if you know someone who's in burnout or who's tells you something like, I drove to the dry cleaner and I meant to drive to the grocery store. I don't know what's going on with me. Aha, you might be in burnout. Any
Yeah,
final thoughts?
yeah. I would say just pay attention to your body. If you feel like there is something that is bothering you too much or that is not allowing you to, like, let's say, for example, it's very easy to know if you're like under stress, if
Mhm,
you cannot enjoy the basics, like, for example, like breakfast or
mhm,
dinner. If you are like having dinner and you notice that you can't just have dinner without having to be like fighting with someone or like talking to someone or like
mhm,
those are like the basics. Or also if you're about to go to sleep and then you keep going on for like hours and hours
mhm,
at night, that is a sign of you getting close to burnout. So before the whole thing happens and you break down, because that's basically what happens. And it comes to the point that where
right.
something like breaks down, either
There's
the
a
body
final
or
straw, and
yeah,
now you're over the edge.
yeah,
And it takes longer to recover
yeah.
if you
So
pitch yourself over the edge.
yeah, and because we don't want that to happen
Mhm,
to you
mhm.
or listening to this, uh, yeah, just. take make some mental notes of the details, and do not let it. If you think you can handle one more day with your eyelid going up and down,
Yeah.
trust me, it's not worth it.
Let's look at our memes and then we'll close out our session here. Okay, let's do this. And on a high note, okay, here's someone facing burnout in the office. Burnout is sneaky because you don't realize you're borrowing from tomorrow to push through today.
Mm,
I think that's really true. Like whatever energy you have, you keep pushing the tank to empty. Here's this: you take time to rest. This is a popular saying. You can't pour from an empty cup.
mm,
So, whatever fills your cup for you, that's nature, that's relaxation, that's talking with a friend, put that in your calendar and it'll help you avoid burnout. And our last one: excuse me, but are you staying hydrated? The duck wants to know. So, yeah, I think staying hydrated is helpful, paying attention to your diet.
and
What are you putting your body through? And
yeah, also,
yeah.
actually, that's very important. The what is it that you're putting into your body?
Mhm.
I have been guilty of eating fast food for a long period of time, like
Mhm.
nonstop. And
Mhm.
of course, surprise, surprise, I know the consequences of it.
Mhm.
So do not do that especially if you can avoid not to do it, then
Mhm.
just, like stick to the more like natural or like less processed, the better.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
yeah, less
As
processed.
close to how nature made it as possible.
Yes.
And if nature didn't make Doritos, maybe do the Doritos once a month.
Yeah,
Nature
yeah,
did not
like
make Doritos. Yeah.
something not like every day because it's gonna add up, you know? Like
Mhm.
the red 40 is going to start adding up in your system after some years.
Mhm. Yeah, well, we'll be mindful about those things. It was great to see you, Jonathan. Everyone, there'll be information below so that you can schedule time with Jonathan. I'll include your YouTube channel also. The Sadhguru app, tips about how to identify fear and burnout, more ideas of what to do about it. It was great to see everybody today. Thank you so much. We'll
Yeah.
see you next time.